All right, we're about to take a journey through a landscape of wealth so staggering it's almost hard to comprehend. We're going from today's biggest stars all the way back to the titans of history. This is the Ultimate Wealth Showdown 2026 edition, where the numbers are, well, they're astronomical, and the rankings are being completely rewritten.
And that quote right there, it just gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? We're not just talking about being rich. We're talking about a scale of fortune that can literally bend economies and reshape the world. So let's see who owns the oceans and who owns the planets.
So we're going to start with the names you know, the icons who dominate our screens and our stages. But as you're about to see, the world of celebrity wealth has some pretty surprising new twists. Okay, so this slide tells such a fascinating story about how the game is changing. On one hand, you've got Justin Bieber, who locked in a cold $200 million by selling his massive song catalog. A classic celebrity power move. But then, get this, his wife, Hailey Bieber, quietly slid into the Billionaires Club in 2025. Her skincare brand Rhode got snatched up for a stunning $1 billion. It just shows this huge shift from old school fame to new school entrepreneurial success.
Now let's talk about two of the absolute biggest entertainment icons on the entire planet. You've got Taylor Swift, who has built a jaw-dropping $1.6 billion empire. And then you have Bollywood's own king, Shah Rukh Khan, who officially joined the Billionaires Club with a massive $1.4 billion.
So how did they pull it off? Well, Taylor Swift is actually the first musician to become a billionaire, mostly through her music and performing, all powered by that monster, record-shattering success of the Eras Tour. Shah Rukh Khan's path, on the other hand, was a bit more diverse. A legendary film career, sure, but also his powerhouse production company and some really smart investments in cricket franchises. And man, this slide right here really shows you how athletic greatness translates into just pure financial power. Michael Jordan is still the king, at an incredible $3.8 billion, a fortune built not just on his career, but on the unstoppable power of the Jordan brand. He's joined by Cristiano Ronaldo, who became soccer's first billionaire at $1.4 billion, thanks to that huge contract in Saudi Arabia. And of course, tennis legend Roger Federer, sitting very comfortably at $1.1 billion.
Okay, so buckle up. We're leaving the celebrity arenas behind and entering the stratosphere. We're talking about the super-billionaires. These are the tech architects and the global titans who aren't just playing in the economy, they're rewriting the rules.
So here it is, the leaderboard for February 2026. And no surprise, it's pretty much a who's who of the digital world. You've got the Google guys, Larry Page and Sergey Brin, Amazon's Jeff Bezos, Meta's Mark Zuckerberg. I mean, their ideas have totally shaped our daily lives, and in return, they've built fortunes that are almost impossible to imagine. But one name on this list stands far, far above everyone else. Just look at this chart. It really puts those numbers into perspective. I mean, the wealth of number 2 and 3, Larry Page and Sergey Brin, is just immense. But then you see Elon Musk's bar. And it's not just a lead. It's like he's playing a completely different game in a different universe. And, it's pretty wild to see how much the landscape has shifted. Bill Gates, the guy who was the world's richest person for decades, has now slipped all the way to 18th place. It's a fascinating move, and a huge part of it is because of the tens of billions of dollars he's given to philanthropy. Another name that really jumps out in the rankings is Donald Trump, whose fortune has grown to an estimated $7.2 billion. Now, while it was built on real estate, a big piece of this new valuation is coming from his successful moves into the world of cryptocurrency. So, let's focus on that peak. Let's talk about the man who has broken every single record and now stands completely alone at the very top of modern wealth. $852 billion. Just let that sink in. That's the peak net worth Elon Musk hit in February 2026. I mean, that's a number that was just unthinkable a few years ago. He is the first person in history to blow past the $700 billion and then the $800 billion mark. So how in the world did he get there? Well, his fortune is mainly tied to his huge ownership stakes in Tesla and, more, SpaceX. In fact, there's a potential SpaceX IPO on the horizon that some people think could be valued as high as $1.75 trillion. If that happens, it would almost certainly make him the world's first ever trillionaire. It's an absolutely incredible achievement, a level of wealth it's just hard to wrap your head around. But it does beg the question, is he truly the richest person to have ever lived?
To answer that, well, we have to look back in time. All right, let's go to a completely different league of wealth. Forget the last few decades. We're going back centuries to meet the real titans of history, whose fortunes make even today's tech giants look small. First up, meet John D. Rockefeller, the guy who founded Standard Oil. He controlled something like 90% of America's oil back in the late 19th century. If you adjust for inflation, his peak fortune would be worth almost $500 billion today. But get this, even Rockefeller gets left in the dust. The Roman Emperor Augustus Caesar had a personal net worth estimated at $4.6 trillion in today's money. And this wasn't from, stocks and bonds. He literally owned the entire country of Egypt. His fortune was about 25% of the entire world's economy at the time. Trillions of dollars. I mean, it seems unbeatable, right? And yet, there's one historical figure whose wealth is considered by many historians to be so vast, so profound that you can't even really put a number on it. His name was Mansa Musa. He was the 14th century ruler of the Malian Empire, and his kingdom was the biggest gold producer on the planet. He personally controlled more than half of the entire global supply of gold and salt, basically the two most valuable things in the world at that time. To really get a sense of his wealth, you have to hear this story about his pilgrimage to Mecca. He traveled with this massive caravan, and along the way, he just gave away gold to the poor. He handed out so much, so freely, that he completely flooded the market in Cairo and single-handedly crashed the entire Egyptian economy for more than 10 years. And this chart right here, it says it all. This is the final showdown. You've got Musk's mind-blowing modern fortune, Rockefeller's industrial empire, the staggering economy-sized wealth of Augustus Caesar. And then there's Mansa Musa. His fortune is often pegged at over $400 billion, but the truth is, it was so vast, it's basically unimmeasurable. He didn't just have wealth, he was the global economy. So, that's the final tally. From the singers on our stages to the coders in Silicon Valley, from the oil barons of the industrial age to a golden king of a forgotten empire, the scale of human fortune is, well, it's just breathtaking. And it's a reminder that wealth isn't only about numbers. It's about the power to actually shape the world. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Today's fortunes are built on data, on code, on going to space. The empires of the past were built on land, steel, and gold. As technology just keeps accelerating, who is going to be the next person to build a fortune so huge that they too join the ranks of these financial immortals?